Wrestling news update. Randy Orton was at UFC last night in the crowd with his wife. Dana White commented on WWE, UFC wrestlers crossing over to WWE well under contract. Derek Lewis, who fought last night, was talking earlier in the week about doing WWE. And I'm going to look up right now if he won. He did win. He won by KO last night. And Dana White says he's fine with UFC fighters wrestling. That brought Derek Lewis's record up to 28-12. So he's fine with guys like Derek Lewis wrestling because he says Vince McMahon isn't trying to fuck him over anymore. He also commented on if he would ever do anything with WWE, be a special referee or anything. He outright said he would never do that, which kind of sucks because that would be interesting. As I reported last night, AEW continuously false advertises wrestlers for their shows. I mean, as recently as the day of the show, they were advertising that Jon Moxley and Chris Jericho were going to be on the Vancouver show, which is just bullshit because Jon Moxley was booked for the New Japan show last night. So why are you advertising him on both the Vancouver Arena's website and your own website if he's wrestling for New Japan? Last night he wrestled at a show in front of 3,000 fans in Ontario, California. Apparently the audio was terrible on the show. The crowd was not into the show. Other AEW wrestlers at that show were the Young Bucks, Jack Perry, Eddie Kingston, and Lance Archer. The thing I get from Tony Khan allowing his wrestlers, even if they're advertised for like a show that has 5,000 people in Vancouver, to wrestle on a 3,000 person show for a different company the same night, is he cares more about his wrestlers wrestling for New Japan than his own company and the effects it's going to have like on the next show when you have guys like Jericho and Moxley advertised and people pay money to see them and then they're not there. How many people are going to believe that the advertised people are going to be on the next show? And if they brag about the crowd from last night, well, you know what? How about I just promote a Great North Wrestling event and put Jon Moxley and Chris Jericho on the show, on the poster for the show, and then get like 3,000 to 5,000 fans in one of my towns. And then they're not going to show up and I'm just going to brag, "Hey, I got 3,000 or 5,000 people on the show." Imagine the heat I would get if I did something like that. For some reason people give AEW a pass and it's a scumbag move. Say what you want, it's a scumbag move to false advertise. They false advertise Moxley for every single Canadian show. You can look at the posters. There's a bunch of people false advertised for all the shows. So that's bullshit. And I'm not going to go into that anymore for now. WWE, as far as the two executives they fired this week, one of them was a 26-year employee. According to Dave Meltzer, they just aren't going to have any loyalty to long-standing employees. They're all about cost cutting and making money and expect more cost cutting. Meltzer was talking today on the Wrestling Observer Radio about the WWE quote unquote press conferences where mostly fake questions were asked and the type of people that they invite to these press conferences as quote unquote wrestling media. Meltzer brought up that he has seen quote unquote media in these WWE pay-per-view press boxes singing along to Seth Rollins songs and cheering and booing the wrestler, basically saying that they invite total marks to these fake press conferences and they want them to ask mostly ass-kissing questions, although sometimes other questions do slip in. Meltzer also confirmed today that Sammy Guevara's suspension is over. So right now he's sitting at home being paid. The guy that he hurt, Matt Hardy, is also recovered from his injury, sitting at home being paid. But you get guys like Jimmy Jacobs on these shows like in Vancouver last night and guys like, I'm no offense to Brady Roberts, but local guys like Brady Roberts If you look at the results of the Vancouver show, there's so many no names, yet they have way better names under contract that they don't use on the shows. And then they wonder why their audiences are so bad. Grandma Daisy Piper is doing great. I'll put up a picture of her. Bob Holly interview. That would be good. Hopefully it happens. I'm gonna try and make it happen 100%. By the way, speaking of New Japan, I did do a book memory last night about my experiences with New Japan, and there are some interesting stories related to that. Um, Even though I technically only had one match for them, which was in LA back in 2006, I have a good amount of stories from various New Japan experiences I've had over the years. Someone says most wrestling posters have small print at the bottom saying cards subject to change. True, but these AEW posters do not. They do not. Take a good look at them. Take a good look. If this one does, it's in such blurry print, it's not even legible. This one, okay, maybe they do underneath AEW tickets, but it's so blurry that you can't even see it. You cannot even see it if it's under AEW ticket. If that says card subject to change, then they do a great job of hiding it. This one, I don't know if it doesn't appear to be written anywhere on here. And this one in Ottawa that I attended was missing FTR, Moxley, Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, Tony Storm. If that's Swerve Strickland on the poster, he also was not in Ottawa. And I don't see card subject to change on here. So sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Mike, aka Grandma Daisy, I'll show you Piper right now. Give me 1 second. She's doing great. Cutest dog ever. I love her a lot. Please give this video a thumbs up. You're welcome. I know you're not saying it makes it okay. I'm just saying when these guys are under contract and you're putting them on New Japan, like put it this way, the Vancouver Collision, I believe it was the debut in the market, had the biggest audience for a collision this year. And you're going to put people on the poster like Jericho, he wasn't wrestling anywhere last night. Why would you like not try to have all of your stars on the show on your biggest show of the year? It doesn't make any sense. There you go. Like, share, and subscribe, Mike D. I'm going off to the gym in a second. I weighed myself yesterday. I'm 286 pounds and I'm putting on muscle. So I'm going to be in very, very good shape for a show June 29th in Napanee, Ontario that I'm really looking forward to, that Paul Roma is also going to be on, among others. Rene Dupree, Angel Medina, Mario Mancini. It's going to be a great event. Napanee, Ontario, halfway between Toronto and Ottawa. I suggest people come out and see it. I will be a lot of people ask me for autographs. I don't really mail autographs, but I do sign them at these shows.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please help me out and like this video, then click the subscribe and get notifications buttons so you don't miss any of my latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Follow us on